I am an Indigenous Australian. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I'm an Indigenous Australian, I'm an Aboriginal Australian, I'm a First Nations person. Yeah, I was born here. My family have been here for over 60,000 years. We're from the Kimberleys, from East Arnhem Land, we're from everywhere. And yeah, we're one of the oldest surviving cultures in the world.
I don't think it matters how I identify as being Aboriginal. I'm an Indigenous Australian, I'm a First Nations woman, I'm strong, black, proud, so yeah.
I'm not fully on the agree line, only because I identify as an Aboriginal and South Sea Islander woman, saltwater woman. And I believe that, well, we've got many names for this country, and Australia just doesn't sit with me because it's colonial.
Indigenous communities are deeply divided in their perspectives, but there is a greater sense of unity that makes them appear politically homogenous. 3, 2, 1.
I think it comes down to a lot of exactly like where you are geographically, because communities that are out in really remote areas, such as Beagle Bay, Halls Creek, even Borroloola, which is where our mobs are from, it's very different to when you come into Brisbane, the Sunshine Coast, Darwin, like major cities and even like larger towns. It's going to be very different compared to smaller communities where everyone is banded together.
I can't speak on everyone, but I feel like not everyone's going to have like the same political views, and like we're not all going to, I don't know, be on the same boat. So yeah, that's why I'm at neutral.
I agree with what Carnell said. Definitely everybody doesn't have the same opinions, and everybody's obviously entitled to what they think. But I feel like culturally, as a nation, we definitely do agree to disagree, kind of, in political issues within our communities and within big city mob, you know?
Australia Day should not be changed. 3, 2, 1.
I went in the middle of disagree and agree, because I think there shouldn't be a problem with changing the date. Like, it's just a date. It means more to Indigenous people with the hurt that we felt when our land was taken from us. But I also agree with we should still have an Australia Day in celebration of the fact that we are a country where we have the ability to vote, we have the ability to come to things like these and voice our opinions in a civil and very, I guess, we're encouraged to be respectful to each other.
I strongly disagree on this question, because as a First Nations woman, I don't want to celebrate a day of mourning, a day that hurts our people, and still to this day, like, we're still trying to change things and, I don't know, like, bridge the gap, close the gap between whatever stereotypes but yeah, pretty much I don't agree with the day. I think it should be changed, because I don't want to celebrate a day of mourning for my people.
I agree with Carnell. I'm on the disagree line only because Australia Day, as I like to call Invasion Day, is a day, like Carnell said, is a day of mourning, genocide, and it was a very, very, very traumatic day in history that we still now, through generations, about what, 4 or 5, 3 generations, still suffer still to this day. And honestly, I feel as if the date could definitely be changed over to literally probably even the fucking next day. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's my personal opinion.
Another thing, I don't want to celebrate a day where my old people got raped, murdered, treated unfairly. It's like, say if your nan died, would you want, like she got raped, she got bashed, her kids got taken off of her, they got stolen, ripped from their mother and father's arms. Would you want to celebrate a day like that, a day of suffering, a day where, you know, you can't feel happy, you can't celebrate a day that's just a load of crap, I think. But yeah, maybe just, I definitely think change the date to, like Naya said, the next day even, just not on a day where the First Fleet came and, you know, wrecked all of our mob. Yeah, changed history.
Honestly, we've changed the date. Literally pick a date that is actually significant to Australia as a whole. Like, not just the English Australians whose family came on those dates. Like, my family wasn't a part of the First Fleet, like my white side of the family. They didn't come till the 1800s. So literally the January 26th doesn't mean anything to us. So we should pick something that's more significant to everyone in Australia if we are going to do that. Don't pick it on a day that's going to hurt, like, majority of the nation's peoples. Like, we were here first. Pick a day that is significant to us and to everyone else that is here.
The clash between preserving ancestral heritage and embracing contemporary ideologies shape Indigenous thinking. 3, 2, 1.
I don't think the need to preserve my cultural history and identity can be affected by the new age and things changing within Australian culture. I recently took an Indigenous cultural studies class as a part of my education degree, and I was more offended by the university's need to make my heritage a part of new and coming age education techniques, because it was very much, it felt as though they were trying to dumb everything down for Indigenous students. And I'm very much like, let us have our heritage, let us have our culture, let us go have our sorry business and be able to practice everything that we have for the last multiple centuries. But when it comes to education, everyone should be treated the same. You should get taught based on your ability. So I think they're two separate things and they need to be kept separate. So they shouldn't impact one another.
It's good that there's new things, like, for example, like I am a songwoman for my mob over on Bachelor Gari, which was also known as Fraser Island. I think it's good to see, like, new songs being made and stuff. Obviously it's hard because most mob, like, we don't speak fluently anymore. That all got ripped away from us. So it is good to see, like, I know there's like ACPA, there's other organisations or like even just like in the community, dance troupes that are performing at NAIDOC events, reconciliation events and whatnot. So it's good to see, like, younger generations coming up, paving a new path, but still sticking true to our culture and creating new songs, new dances, and that. So yeah, I'm pretty much like in between disagree and neutral.
This is a hard one, because I completely agree with the pair of yous and with what both of yous have just said. But I still believe that we should definitely stick to our roots 100%, because all of our songlines, they were called songlines for a reason, you know, like they were set in certain orders for us to travel country, migrate through our country, and to help us navigate how our country works. So I definitely, I still don't know where to fucking stand, actually, because I'm like, maybe I should be about here. Because I agree with also Carnell that we should definitely, because like she said, we aren't fluent in our language, and a lot of our language was lost over the last 100 years and 250. And just within that, it's deadly to fucking see, you know, mobs come together and be able to create new song lines and create new songs for us to learn and be proud about, you know? Because, yeah, honestly, I think that's about it.
I did just move a little bit towards the neutral line because thinking about it, I had a lot of opportunities growing up to be more involved within my community and with the elders and supporting them and helping them by joining in groups and activities that allowed me to get involved with that, and those wouldn't happen without, I guess, corporations and white people putting up their hand going, we'll give you money for you guys to learn about your culture. So I guess that's a little bit where New Age and contemporary ideas do help support us being able to learn about our heritage.
Gender dynamics in Indigenous communities are healthy. 3, 2, 1.
So from what I have personally seen and experienced and heard from my own family growing up in community and stuff like that, there is a lot of overpowering of men within communities, and there's not a lot of support for women or even young gay men and stuff like that to feel welcome and wanted within their community. There's a lot of issues with domestic violence and stuff like that that gets very much ignored by essentially the media, because that is the main way to get word out these days. And the media don't look at the domestic violence issues within community, and a lot of it is husbands and fathers with young women. So yeah.
I'm in neutral because I feel like our brothers, our uncles, pops, dads, like love them to death and everything, but I feel like our women are the backbone to all of our families. They are matriarchs. They take in people from the street. They help everyone out, give them money, give them somewhere to stay, give them food. Even like for, I don't know, like young mums or single fathers, single mothers, they're always, the grandparents or the nans, the aunties, they're always the ones that are there for you when you need something, but then they fall short because they don't have anyone that's going to, you know, be there and support them sometimes through their mental health issues or their health, their physical health. But it is good though, like no discredit to our the men in our lives and whatnot, but like they're there when we need something, like if we need to be protected, in that sense they're there.
Just with my personal experiences, I've seen both healthy and toxic dynamics in both female and male roles within Indigenous communities, coming from a small town especially. It's a lot. It's definitely got me in the middle, because yeah, I've seen both sides of the story.
I just want to add to what I said before, just because like I don't want to discredit the men within community at all, because like my pop, if I rang him bawling my eyes out saying something's just happened to me, he would be there in a minute, or he would find someone else to be there. And my uncles and that, I'm the baby girl of the family. I am the one who, if I cry wolf, whether or not there's a wolf, my like uncles and pop and that will be there. So like the men within community, they can be amazing, but it's just based on statistics and stuff like that, it does show that there's not that protection of women that there needs to be, because they are the backbone of communities. They're the ones who do everything. And yeah.
The Indigenous Australians believed that the entire world was made by their ancestors way back in the very beginning of time, the dream time. The ancestors made everything. 3, 2, 1.
Me being an Indigenous person, I don't believe in religion. Like you said, I believe in Dreamtime. I believe that my ancestors did create this world with what it has. I've always been brought up to know that my ancestors created everything and everything is connected. When you do get into depths about things and you do sit with them old people and they do tell you stories and they tell you how this land was made, definitely they tell you how absolutely everything is connected. So just with my upbringing, I definitely agree that my ancestors created everything. We're First Nations people. We're the oldest living nation in this world.
I'm 50-50. I sway a little bit more to agree, but then I'm like kind of stuck because I was brought up knowing both sides, learning language, learning culture, learning the stories, but I also had my nan and she was a strong Christian woman. So growing up, going to church too. I'm not going to say like I am, but I'm not torn between the two because like I respect my Christian side, my beliefs there, and I respect like the Dreamtime stories, my ancestors. So I have both views on things.
I'm more towards the disagree, but I'm also close to neutral because I'm a Christian woman. I've grown up learning Dreamtime as well, and I love the Dreamtime stories. They teach so much about morals and who our people were and where we came from. But I'm also someone who believes in science, and I, even with my Christian beliefs growing up, before I knew much about my family's Dreamtime stories, I always believed the Big Bang Theory. We came from monkeys, that sort of thing. I didn't ever really believe that God created the world in 7 days. But I still have a lot of respect for both parts of my beliefs.
To what Naya was saying as well with like our ancestors, us as Aboriginals, we're very spiritual people. Our connection to this country is like really powerful. We'll go out bush or go back on country, back to where we're from. And as soon as our feet touch the soil, touch the sand, the dirt, the land, like you just notice things differently, like the birds. For like my grandmother, she's told me, because she makes stories, she's a song woman, she makes songs. And she was out on country in Woolgoolba Creek, which is where the women's birthing area is. And she went out there one day and she heard like the country talking to her, singing to her through the trees, through the breeze, the birds.
Also, just as well, like, yeah, with like the Dreamtime stuff as well, I may not believe in the history of it and with the creation side of it, but I do strongly believe in the spirits and the ancestral side of it, where like I'll be walking down the street having a really bad day and I'll see a rainbow lorikeet and all of a sudden I just feel so relaxed and comfortable within myself and feel strong because I've just seen my totem animal, and I can feel my ancestors being there in that moment because of that. And so I feel like with the connection to the land and stuff like that, like we do feel it. It is something that's there, and it's something that people won't understand unless they experience it themselves.
I am proud to be an Indigenous Australian. 3, 2, 1.
So as you can see, I'm not on the full agree line because, as I said previously before, I'm a proud Aboriginal and South Sea Islander woman. So I am a very proud South Sea Islander and Aboriginal woman native to this land.
I'm very, very proud of my people. I'm proud of the Larrakia people and the Yarrawoo people that I come from. I'm proud of the other mobs that I know I come from, but I don't exactly know who they are because we're from everywhere. But I am also very proud of the history that my white family has had within Australia. I had my great-great-grandfather travelled the Northern Territory in and out of communities, teaching education and providing resources and giving money for these people to expand their own lives. So I'm very proud of that as well, but nothing can beat the pride that I have for my Indigenous family and the love that they have and the lessons that they have taught me over the past 21 years.
I'm proud to be a black fella. I'm not going to say Indigenous Australian because, like, I don't know, blackfella, yeah. I'm proud to be, yeah. I'm going to stand here because I'm actually mixed as well. So I'm a proud South Sea woman, Aboriginal woman, Tongan, German. We got connections over in New Zealand as well, like Māori connections. And I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like it just discredits our mob saying like, oh, an Indigenous Australian. Like, yeah, obviously we're Indigenous to the land. But for me, I'm a strong, proud black woman from the Bachelor Garawa mob. And yeah.
I'm just going to add it in because we said it earlier, like, I don't look black, I look white as hell. Blonde, I'm naturally blonde, I've got blue eyes, but tea is still tea, no matter how much milk you add to it. And yeah, so I'm a proud blackfella woman, so.
And that's the end of our episode. Thank you so much for coming, and hug it out.
That's a wrap!
Oh, hop in it, okay. Yeah. We also want to pay our respects and acknowledge the Kumameri people of this land. Thanks for having us, you fellas.